Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Bible Illustrated Hands. I wanted to make this episode an episode on making Orthodoxy more inclusive, but I've had such a crazy patron saint day that I opted to make this episode instead because I thought it would be, well, maybe not fun, more fun, but it did leave an impression on me. So, today is my patron saint day, and as some of you know, my patron saint is Saint George, the great martyr. He was a Roman soldier who was viciously tormented by Diocletian and his tormentors with the goal of making him offer a sacrifice to idols. He didn't, and now he's a great saint. So, Serbs celebrate their patron saint's day in a really festive manner. We bake these special cakes called Slava cakes. Slava is a Serbian word for patron saint day, and it is usually the most important day in our family calendar. Yeah, I mean, it really depends from family to family. But I won't be focusing too much on Slava today. I will be focusing on everything that has transpired. So this story begins on Sunday evening. My mother and father were at a wedding, and my dad had a little too much to drink. He was tipsy, and as they were returning home, they wanted to make a run towards a car because there was a downpour, and because it was so wet and they were walking over concrete, my dad slipped and fell. And at that moment he didn't think much of it, but he kept tossing and turning throughout the entire night because of the pain. And when he woke up, his entire shoulder was numb. So, by the way, because I worked till late, I had maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep, assuming that I'll have time once I get home, you know, to get a nap and, you know, help my mother with preparing the feast and everything. Boy, was I wrong. Anyway, I wake up. They are worried because the pain is not going away and it hurts like all hell. So he decides to go to this private practitioner, and I'm like, Dad, if you really want, I can miss church today, you know, to help you out. But he's like, no, fine, you go, and I'll and if I need you, I'll simply call, and I'm fine. So I go to church. So this is all happening on St. George's Day. Thank you for not helping my dad, fake saint. Hashtag don't pray to St. George. Hashtag forgive me St. George. Hashtag don't kill me St. George. So the liturgy finishes in the chapel that I attend. And now, because it is a small student chapel, we usually don't celebrate Slavas there. But come St. George, the entire table where we put all these Slava cakes is filled with all the, you know, with all the cakes that everyone has brought. I think that everybody in the altar celebrates St. George as their patron saint. So, you know, we have the cakes blessed and everything goes fine. So I call my dad. Call my dad, and he says that people are pushing him to and fro from different, you know, practitioners and everything, and that he will most probably, you know, return home until he gets further instructions. So I go back home, you know, with our blessed Slava cake and everything. And once I'm home, it turns out that that the results from his checkup were in, and he has strained his shoulder, and that is why it hurts so much. So mom is like, oh, maybe we should cancel the feast. And I'm like, no, 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 we can still do this, we can still do this. By the way, canceling your Slava is a pretty, you know, not something that you want to ever happen to you, because it is something you look forward to throughout your entire year. So I go with my dad, we get a hold of a good doctor, and he tells us that it is better that he realigns his shoulder as soon as possible, and that that he needs a local anesthetic, because if he doesn't get one, and if he, for example, goes to a what's it called, people who realign your bones, chiropractor or something, that he can literally get a heart attack from all the pain. So I go there with him to this local hospital, and mom's like, oh, don't worry about me, I'll get her cousin to help me out. So we spent I don't know, 3 hours there. Dad was admitted immediately, but only after like an hour did the doctor arrive and give him the anesthetic. I brought, you know, some books to read, but I was sort of feeling horribly guilty, because I sort of left mom stranded, even though if she was the one who said, oh, Phil, you definitely should go with him. So I'm there, everybody's calling, how is he doing, how is he doing, did they perform the, well, not the surgery, whatever you call that, small medical procedure. And finally the nurse approaches me, she says everything went fine, you can go in and see him. So this is like maybe an hour and a half before the guests are to arrive. So so I come home, I start helping out with everything. Now the doctor said that Dad could leave at 8 p.m. So by the time he arrives, majority of the feast would have been finished. So it was a bit of a bummer, but you know, everybody starts arriving. Mom keeps, you know, telling everyone the entire story, what has happened, why is Dad missing, and everything. And at around, I don't know, 6:30, there's the doorbell, and everybody's like, are we expecting somebody else? Mom is like, no, we don't. I open the door, and there's Dad. He has signed the form for an early release because he was feeling fine. And it was a Christmas St. George miracle. Dad is back from the army. I mean, literally, it looked like a corny Hallmark movie, you know, as he makes an unexpected appearance, and everybody's like, yay! Oh, and everybody's like, oh, he fled the hospital so he could spend time with his granddaughter, and we're like, yay, yay! And then I realized, no, wait, no, he's not. He left early so he could watch Game of Thrones, and I figured him out. I mean, he adores his little granddaughter, but he also likes his Game of Thrones. So it was a crazy and stressful day, and thanks to God and Saint George, we managed to pull through. That cousin who helped us was, you know, a lifesaver. If there wasn't for her, everything would have gone south really fast. I don't know if you can tell from my voice, but I'm also extremely exhausted. But it was a really good day, and well, you know, something to talk about in the future. Again, sorry about uneventful episode, but just wanted to share how I spent my patron saint day. Bye!